STAKK Nation, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Brazen.
Below, let's go.
We are back online. We are here for some reaction videos. So with no further ado, the supreme leader, or what do we call him there? The fake god of earth has spoken. And he believes that we are now in another phase of a plan that we don't have the plan.
The next revolution.
Yes, I do not get the outline of the plan. However, Mr. Schwab and his World Economic Forum, I like how they play those words very closely. We have,
Transitioning now.
yeah, you have the World Economic Forum, and now we have a World Government Summit. You could look at it as it's just a summit that is a gathering of governments across the world. Or you could interpret it for what I think we all know this is: one world government, if you will.
Yep. Who elected Klaus, by the way? And it's a bunch of multi-billionaires and millionaires in the room too, by the way. Non-elected officials.
Non-elected officials who are now running the world. And it's no longer a secret, you know. I remember once upon a time when these things used to be considered conspiracy theory.
It's in your face now.
All right, let's see what the man has to say. Let's give him a chance. Let him say his piece.
And we are just now where we move into the exponential phase. And I agree. Artificial intelligence, but not only artificial intelligence, but also the metaverse, new space technologies, and I could go on and on, synthetic biology. Our life in 10 years from now will be completely different, very much affected, and who masters those technologies in some way will be the master of the world.
Who masters those technologies will be a master of the world. What are your thoughts so far on that? What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually like that you asked that question.
Yeah.
We'd like to ask the audience that question as well.
Yeah.
After just watching that short clip, I know it said a lot more than that, so forgive us for just showing you a little part of that clip. But if you watch the entire summit, you would have a lot of questions. But give us back your own response to what you just watched. And if you've not liked to subscribe to us yet, go ahead and do that. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, these are critical times in our lives.
Right.
We have artificial intelligence, right? We've already seen what ChatGPT did in just the search engine space in less than a day or two.
Right.
Like the fact that people are more geared towards that technology instead of using Google searches, it's a major change, right? And I also mentioned Metaverse, right? Synthetic biology and engineering, where you can literally replace body parts, right? Which artificial intelligence can also connect to. It's crazy. Yes, times are changing. We're going through a new industrial revolution, if you want to call it, a new technology revolution, which is great. But as you listen to the summit, they want power and control of those technologies. Not you, not your access, but they feel like they're losing that edge with especially artificial intelligence. They could use Metaverse to control you though. That's that, own nothing and be happy kind of situation.
Right.
But we can talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I see what you're saying there. First of all, I think that everything this man just said made no sense to begin with. It's just a bunch of buzzwords. Schwab does not understand artificial intelligence. Definitely does not understand AI. I don't think that most people in his circle do. However, this is a man or an organization that has been on a mission for multiple years to bring this oligarchy of theirs to the forefront and take full control of the world. Essentially, there's a group of people who are on a mission to hijack the world. I like taking things from basic principles. I oversimplify things sometimes. Maybe that is my problem. But we have to just look at it at a very basic level. There's a group of people who think they are your God, And with that, they are trying to essentially just make sure that everyone is a slave and work for them. This goes down the line in so many deep levels. Who is in alignment with this guy? Right? We've spoken about public-private partnerships before, and we're seeing here a room full of people who do not seem like they're representative of any of us or the general population, making plans to control everything that moves, right? I think the only issue is these guys are not able to rein in the technology sector. And I think that the technology sector, AI, as he likes to mention over and over, is the tool that the general public will have to fight against this tyranny. Because as far as I remember, I do not remember us ever voting for any of these people to have conversations and make decisions on the behalf of the globe.
I like how you said the globe.
Right?
That's all of us.
Yes.
The entire continent.
Because when we're having these conversations, right, we should be having these conversations in relation to who is going to be governing the United States. Same thing for people who are, right, nationalism. There's different identities around the world, and they have their leaders who I do not see represented in this
Not on the front row.
in this summit, by the way. So my question is, who is this guy talking to? Who is he referring to? Who gave him the power? Because until we can establish that, everything else that this guy is saying is just part of his terroristic plan, and not something that I think we should be discussing seriously.
It's called the World Government Summit.
Who established the World Government Summit, man? We do not listen. There is no credibility to this thing. I do not recognize these people. This is straight terrorism, point blank, period. So they need to terminate whatever it is they're doing there, because if the head of chief, right, of the United States of America does not come out and say that this is the direction in which we're going, I don't think that some guy in Switzerland is the one that we should be listening to for any of these things. And even more concerning, why is it that our government is not responding to this guy? Could it be because they don't find him credible? I get it that they could also be part of the plan, but to have someone like this making plans on a global scale, I think that is, I don't know what other way to put it. This is terrorism.
The global terrorism. Global war terrorism.
On the rise, yes.
Yeah.
It's just that simple for me. There's really nothing else to it.
No, I want to pick this speech apart, if you allow me to, a little bit. But before I do that, they say sometimes a message is hidden right in plain sight. I would like to do some research on what that logo over there means. To me, the way it represents, when you see rods, the stars in the American flag may have the meanings, the different states. When you look at those rods, who are they? What does it mean? What does it represent? Are those missiles coming to strike you out? I don't know. But
bro, I don't recognize any of this shit, bro. Because this is what I'm saying, bro. Until we agree that these people are allowed to make decisions for us, I don't give a shit about your logo or anything. No. I just know that whatever they're doing needs to be terminated.
Yeah,
because
so
I will not assimilate to anything that they propose.
Let's talk about what they're doing. All right. So we'll talk about artificial intelligence, right? It's a technology that, when developed, you can control some aspect of it in terms of what you wanted to learn.
Right.
But the technology has a capability of learning itself and then give you the response of what it learned, either good or bad. So like we were saying before we started this video, it's a double-edged sword, right? And when you have a double-edged sword that you don't really have full control over, and now you want to legislate or regulate around, then that becomes an issue, which is what you're saying, is that who gave them the authority to want to regulate artificial intelligence or have control, like you said at the end of it?
Well, okay. If you and I woke up tomorrow,
yep,
and we put out a post on Twitter,
yep,
saying, hey, we need all of you to tune into our channel on Monday. We're going to be giving you the guidelines of how you and your family should be consuming energy moving forward, and we're going to be enforcing these things. As a matter of fact, we think that the US government is part of the problem, so we're going to be talking to them to change their ways, right? And then just go about this crazy plan and get on Twitter or YouTube and everything else and start drawing out plans for people in the US. How do you think that will go over?
Some states, they were just like, okay, that's fine. That's a good idea.
Okay.
In some other states like Texas or Florida, hell no.
Listen,
But yeah,
I don't think that
that is what they're trying to do with artificial intelligence. Okay, all right. Let's go to Metaverse. That topic about the Metaverse, right?
Okay.
If you look at the funding around the Metaverse during the last bull market,
Yeah.
it's a lot of these big corporations. And I mean, you've taken me into the Metaverse, the most recent one.
That's VR.
I know it's the Metaverse.
games.
Really, at the end of the day,
No, well, I want to slow down there because I think that it is good to make a distinction. You can use VR for entertainment,
Yep.
but I think that this idea of the metaverse is of how they portray it is deeper than VR. There's nothing wrong with using VR technology for gaming, using VR technology for interactions with your friend, and so on and so on. If people want to use that term as a metaverse, fine. But when we talk about the metaverse in the context that these people are referring to it, it seems like generating a whole other economy where you are taxed online and in person. There is governing rules for you online and in person, in real life as well. That is a different. That is a very different and more asinine concept than what I mean, just enjoying VR. This is when they talk about metaverse here. It sounds to me like this is attaching you to
your digital
a
identity
digital
online.
identity where you can be held responsible, penalized, and much more for it. So, I think using that term metaverse, it's something that is, I know it's very loosely used right now, but yeah, I think there's just kind of phases to it.
There's a whole big digital economy opportunity with the Metaverse. That is one thing that we did with One Life, or what's it called, back in the day.
Yeah.
And I see it when we did that VR thing there. It's like you can literally live in an entire city, live in this modern world outside of your regular life, and feel like life is great. And then there's a whole economy behind that. You can travel the world, meet people without being there really in present.
Yeah.
But they want control over that as well, because they see the economic opportunity there. So they want to be there.
They can be there as business people. There's nothing wrong with people coming in as taking advantage of a technology
Yep.
that is arising.
Yep.
But I think that this is not that. This is a group of people who are trying to claim ownership, be the gods of the technology, and then forever have that. This is how we've ended up in the fiat system that we're in right now.
Yep.
Right, where there is this one form of money, which we're now at a point where they're going to be creating a CBDC version of it, where you do not own your own value. We need to start resisting these things ahead of time.
Yeah.
Before it gets to a point where, because otherwise we're just going to find ourselves in a world where there is CBDCs and absolute tyranny. Your rights have been modified. You know, when you lose your rights, you don't get them back. And then everyone is bitching about it. We have to deny things like this from the get-go. This is terrorism. There is no other two ways about it. It is terrorism, and this guy is probably the biggest terrorist that there is on earth.
Yep.
That's
Kinda-
all I have on this one.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what they did with electricity, with the railroad, with the motor vehicle.
Yeah.
That was literally hijacked as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they're trying to hijack this into as well. Yeah,
Exactly.
makes a lot of sense.
Well, that's just what I think of that one. You guys let us know what you think in the comments. You know, I could be way off. I'm known to always be way off anyway. So that's just the area where I live. Final thoughts, double up.
Hey man, we always say they are going to use the same approach towards Bitcoin. fixing money fixes all of these issues because
Right.
they're able to do all of this with the fiat systems where they get to print money out of tin here and then make regulations around all of this physical economies out there.
Right.
Now, Bitcoin creates an opportunity where it not only controls the physical economy, it also controls the digital economy without giving them the authority or the power
Yeah.
to make the regulations or the directions in the way they want to make it.
Right.
It's one of the reasons why with Bitcoin, folks, it's just it's the answer for all these strategies.
Well, look, man. While all of this is happening, look, man, it's not an easy feat because I think they're panicking too, for sure. So it's for reasons like this why we need that decentralization.
Yep.
And Bitcoin is looking healthier. The more these people do these things, I think, yeah. And we have more of these videos because these guys,
They're on it, man.
listen, man.
They have the foot on the pedal, so we have to respond as quickly as possible as well.
They gave us content, so we're not going to fight it.
Oh no,
Gotta
gotta fight it.
Yeah. Follow us on YouTube, of course. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter, STAKK. We are on Facebook. Hanging out with the outgoing generation. STAKK on Facebook. We're still banned on Twitter.
I mean Instagram.
On Instagram, yes. We're
Not
still,
Twitter.
we're still banned on Instagram. I think very much like the Ohio railway situation, as you can see. Twitter is handling.
Instagram.
Jesus Christ, why do I keep
Twitter
saying
have not offended us.
Twitter is cool. Twitter is cool. Twitter is cool. It's because we're always on Twitter. That's why I keep thinking of Twitter. But yes, Instagram is garbage. Of course, Spotify as well. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen. Brazen out.